Hey guys, Justin here with AmericanTrucks.com, and today we're talking about the dual exhaust system fitting on 2015 through 2020 3.5 liter EcoBoost powered F-150s. Now the dual catback that we're talking about here today will hands down be one of the most affordable stainless steel systems on the site for your EcoBoost powered rig, and will also giving you some flexibility with how you want the system to look thanks to the dual side exit and dual rear exit piping. Now interested buyers can look forward to a 409 grade stainless steel build throughout, including the chambered muffler design here. Certainly going to help increase the bark overall while exiting out of the 3.5-inch tailpipes, all for right around that high $300 price point. All right guys, as is tradition, let's get right into the sound clips here you can expect with the affordable dual system in place. And as you just heard, certainly louder than stock, but not by a ton. And that's probably one of the things I enjoy most about this particular system. Listen, if you want to be the loudest truck on the block, well, there's gonna be other systems out there that will be more aggressive. But if you're looking to make enough rumble on the street without driving your wife or the neighbors crazy and while saving a bunch of money, then this is certainly gonna be the system for you. So breaking out my patented Wake the Neighbor scale, I'm gonna go soft 3 out of 5 here on my 1 to 5 or 1 to Wake the Neighbor scale. Again, louder than stock, no doubt, but certainly not crazy loud. Now inside the truck, on the other hand, things do remain relatively quiet with only a small amount of noise noticeable at cruising speeds. Regardless guys, definitely check out the customer reviews on this one as well, as there are a bunch to read about here. And it's always good to hear from fellow F-150 owners who have actually installed this system and want to tell you about it. But with the sound covered, let's talk about the quality and construction. And as I did mention briefly at the start of this video, guys, you're looking at currently one of the most affordable full stainless steel systems on the site for your 2015 through 2020 truck. Now, you are getting that 409 grade stainless here to be exact, which is your mid-level material behind 304 grade stainless on the top end, and that aluminized steel rounding out the lower side of things. 409, definitely a solid material that will offer great corrosion resistance even in those snowy or salty areas. But aside from the material, you are also looking at a combination of 3-inch and 2.5-inch mandrel bent tubing, 3-inch leading into the chambered muffler. It does split down to 2.5-inch after the fact before exiting out of the polished 3.5-inch tips. Now maybe one of my favorite things here about this system, aside from the affordability and the bark, is the fact that they kick in piping to allow this to be a dual side exit or a dual rear exit configuration. I think that's killer, allows you to change up the look pretty easily, and it's not something a lot of exhaust companies are doing, especially at this price point. In fact, the one that comes to mind, the C&L Proving Ground series, might be a slightly nicer option at the end of the day, and then Flowmaster does it as well, of course. But regardless, if you want to see the rest of our selection here at AT, never a bad idea. All right, so we've talked about the price throughout the video, and for good reason. Again, at or around that high $300 mark, guys, this is currently one of the most affordable full stainless steel dual catbacks on the site for your F-150, and at the time of this video, it's by a pretty hefty margin. All right guys, let's talk about the install here. Site claims there might be a little trimming needed for the main or front pipe with the new dual exhaust system. That is something the instructions will lay out for you pretty clearly. Regardless, you're gonna be looking at a middle of the road 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter here, taking you, I would say, 3 hours at most to get in place from start to finish. But regardless, to give you a better idea of how this one might go down in the garage or driveway at home, let's throw it out to the shop for our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
For this install, you need a 3/8 impact, a couple 3/8 ratchets, a pry bar, a 17, 16, and 13 millimeter swivel socket, a tape measure, a marker, 17 millimeter wrench, a tool to clean up the metal edges, some spray lubricant, safety glasses, and also not shown be a lift, pole jacks, and a cutting tool. All right, today we're gonna be installing an exhaust on our F-150. So first we're gonna watch a quick video how to install a stock system, then we'll come back here to install the new one.
So first things first, we gotta get rid of our factory catback, and we're gonna start by lubricating all of the hangers. And then there's 2 13 millimeter bolts on this flange here that we're going to undo as well. That will allow us to push the whole exhaust back and drop it in one big piece. If you are working on the ground, you might have to loosen that clamp right there or bring out the saw to cut this into a couple pieces. But again, since we're on the lift, we're gonna take it out in one big piece.
All right, now we're gonna start installing our new exhaust. Now we're working a little backwards, so we're gonna start from the rear and work our way forward just because we do need to cut our front pipe. We just need to measure how much we need to. So we're gonna locate our muffler and then go off of that. First, we're gonna put our passenger side over the axle pipe in. So we're gonna put that in our rear hanger over here and just let that rest. And then next we're gonna put in our driver's side pipe that will come out of the muffler, and then we'll get our muffler in place. So now we have our driver's side over the axle pipe. We'll put that in our hanger next to our gas tank here, and then we'll get both these pipes over our muffler. All right, so we have our muffler, and we will see we already have 2.5 inch clamps already on. We're just gonna slide our rear pipes in. And then we can just level out our muffler, hold that in place. All right, as you see here, we have our front pipe on. We have it just temporarily bolted up in place. It's not tight, but we just have it resting underneath the muffler here. So we measured about, so the pipe will go into the muffler approximately 2 inches. So we just measured, made a mark of where the pipe would go into the muffler at and made that mark there. So we're cutting approximately 3 3/4 inches off of our pipe here for the size truck that we have. So we're gonna take this down, mark all the way around, and then cut that off. Now we got it all marked up all the way around, we're just gonna take our chop saw and cut off the extra. All right, so what I did was I cleaned up our end a little bit so there's no sharp edges, but like you can use a piece of sandpaper, whatever you want. But now that that's cleaned up, we're gonna have one 3-inch clamp on our muffler. We have our 3-inch clamp with our hanger attached that we're just gonna slide over our pipe. We're just gonna feed that forward, past our flange a little bit, then put that into our muffler. There we go. Get that all lined up. We can put this hanger clamp into our front hanger here. And then slide our flanges together. You can leave this all loose for right now, but what we're gonna do is gonna loosely install our hardware in the front. So we have our supplied bolts with flat washers and nuts. Just gonna loosely install them, and then we'll get the rest installed, and then come back and tighten everything down. So next what we're gonna do is we're gonna put up our hanger for our driver's side pipe that goes around the spare tire. So you're gonna see 2 holes in the frame here with a triangle behind it. You're gonna go in this bottom hole here in the front, put our bolt through with our washers, and then our bracket on the back side, like so. And then we have our nut. And thread that on. Then we can tighten that down. We're gonna grab our ratchet with our 16mm socket and a 17mm wrench to hold the nut. So now we can put our pipe on. As you can see, I have our 2.5 inch clamp already on. We're gonna slide that up on our pipe out of the muffler. And then we can rest that on our pole jack here, and then get our supplied rubber isolator onto our hanger and exhaust. All right, I used a little bit of spray lubricant just to make it a little bit easier. Just gonna slide them on, just like that. All right, now here's where you have the option. You can either put your S pipe on like so, and that will bring the tip out straight out the back of the bumper, or you can put your curve on and that'll bring the tip out to the side. That's one we're gonna do today. So we're gonna, as you can see, we already have our 2.5 inch clamp on there. So we're just gonna slide that on there, let it rest for now. You can go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Then we're gonna go and tighten from the front, working our way backwards, adjusting as needed. All right, so we're gonna start at our front flange here. As you remember, we did put on our hardware already. We have our bolt with our flat washer on the front side, and then our nut on the back side. So we're gonna grab our ratchet and 16mm socket, and we're gonna grab another ratchet with a 17mm deep, just because it is a little bit hard to get a wrench around that flange. You tighten these down. Now you wanna tighten them down evenly so it doesn't pull the flange to one side or the other. All right, now that those are tight, what we can do is tighten our clamp hanger here. So we're gonna grab our impact and 16mm socket and tighten that down. And we can also tighten down our muffler. Now we wanna make sure it is leveled and oriented correctly. Next we have our 2 pipes out of our muffler. So I'm just gonna adjust them, tighten them down. Same thing, impact and 16mm socket. Now we just have our pipe on the driver's side going around to our axle and spare tire. Get that in place, tighten that down. All right, now we're gonna come back. We're gonna put our tip on first, just so we can tighten this curved pipe down at the proper angle that we need. So once you figure out your height and angle, tighten it down. We can use the same impact and 16mm socket and tighten down our tip. You can go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. And that wraps up our install of our dual exhaust system with polished tips, rear exit for a 2015 to 2020 3.5 liter EcoBoost F-150, excluding the Raptor, and 2019 to 2020 Limited. And remember, for everything F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.